Hello, hello, hello to everyone out there. How's everyone doing? I should say. I am so happy to be here tonight, as I am always happy to be with you. It is going to be an incredible broadcast and show tonight. I'm telling you, I'm excited. I have a wonderful, wonderful guest with me tonight, and we're going to have a really serious but flowy kind of chat, right? This topic tonight, battered woman syndrome, is something I've been waiting to talk about. And so I'm happy that I'll be able to do it tonight with this special guest that I have. And I'm telling you, she is definitely a survivor, a woman that is doing things. She's breaking ceilings and making them her footstool. She's making them her floor. She's breaking ceilings, and I'm so proud of her. And so we're going to talk a little bit tonight about the battered woman syndrome. I'm trying to see. I don't have Facebook. I don't know why I can't get it on here, so I'll have to do it on my phone. Anyway, it's good to see all of you. Let's see. I have somebody in the chat already. Mary Hall Caesar. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for being here. Let me just put that good evening, everyone out there, from Mary, all the way from Texas. She is in Texas, and she was on the platform the other night, and she'll be again on the platform on Sunday when we have the flow of poetry. And so tonight is a great night. It's a good night, and we want to get into this conversation. And so I'm going to bring my guest to the platform so we can chat. And you know how we do on Bravo with Sheila. I always let you know what this platform was designed. The platform was designed for women to help them move from pain to power and from power to victory. That's right. We're moving here, and we talk about everything, right? We don't hold back. We talk about topics that we all need to talk about as women, whether the church likes it, your cousin likes it, your sister likes it. There is no judgment zone here, and we're free over here to talk and to help move women to another level, to give them inspiration, resources, and to help them move from pain to power and from power to victory. So welcome everyone to Bravo with Sheila. We know how we do. Some of the Bravettes is probably going to pop in. Let's see. I think I might have a Bravette here. Let's see. That's Timona Tyler. Oh my goodness. Good evening to you. Wow, it's so good to see you. So good to see you. We have a vet here. Hello there. How you doing, Jeanette? It's so good to see you. Facebook, I'm going to put you on in a second. For some reason, I'm having an issue with it, but I want to see everyone. I want to greet everyone. Thanks for being here, Jeanette. You know, we love you here at Bravo, and all of you wonderful women that are chiming in. As you coming in, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. And if you've never been here before, why don't you just do me a sweet favor and go ahead and subscribe to the channel? Listen, I just made over 200 subscribers the other day. So I was in celebration mode. That's right. I'm giving myself a bravo. Bravo. You got to put, just give yourself, touch your heart, your mind, your soul, and just give yourself a bravo wherever you need it, just because, and you do not need permission. I said you don't, and you don't. And so, listen, I see I'm on Facebook on my phone, but not on my computer. I have no idea why, but here we are. So let's get into it. I want to bring up my wonderful, wonderful guest. And you know what we do here? This is not an interview. This is a conversation and a chat. We got another Bravette in the house. Let me just say hello to my sweet M. Mills. Nice to see you, sis. So glad that you're here. Thank you so much for always supporting. So those of you that don't know, we're the Bravettes over here. You can be a vet or a Bravette. Listen, sometimes the Bra Bros drop by. Yeah, that's the guy. That's the guys. But anyway, we're going to get into it. And I want to introduce to you, Minister Kiana Norfleet. And I'm going to bring her up right now. There she is. There she is. All righty. Do you have a fan on or something?
No, I do not.
You don't. Okay, whatever you just did, it was turned down. That's fine. Whatever you did. Perfect, 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 perfect. So I want everyone to greet uh Minister Kiana. She is here and we're going to have a nice chat. She has so much to share, so much to share. And so tonight we're going to jump right into it. Again, this conversation is about the battered woman syndrome. And so let's get into it. But before we do that, you guys know what I have to do. We're going to play this intro. And I think tonight I'm going to play Raising the Bar intro. Don't move. Yeah, I like that beat. I like that beat. Let's see. I have to put this comments up, get out of this and see. Inay, Bravette is here. Good evening, Inay. Inay, God bless you, sis. Thanks for being here. All my girls are in the house. And welcome those of you that are here for the first time. We have a good time over here. Get busy in the chat. Put your comments in. Put your questions in. What we do here, Kiana, we just put comments up. We kind of intertwine with the guests, with our people that are here, right? We just don't leave them hanging. And she says, hello, they're greeting you, they're greeting you, they're greeting you.
Hi, praise him. Hello, y'all. How y'all doing?
Yeah. So anyway, Minister Kiana, I might slip up and call you Kiki.
It's okay.
Yeah, I slip up all my family members and whoever comes on that, I slip up with the nickname. So I'm trying to keep it professional. So Kiana, we want to talk tonight about this topic, and I wanted you to come on because you are definitely a success story. So much so that you created a ministry. And let me just put up the banner right now so I can have that moving across there we go. So we're spotlighting you tonight. You are being spotlighted. This is your night. This is like giving you your flowers while you are here, right? Just spotlighting you and giving you a bravo. All right. So we give you a bravo tonight for all that you have accomplished and all that you're continuing to do. But we want to really get into this topic because I really believe that you could help, and this conversation could really help women who, when we talk over here about different topics, we talk about a lot of topics where people are in silence. They're dying in silence, right? And I don't want to say dying on YouTube. You can't say the word die and you can't say the word S. You got to say delete. So just in case you want to go to that word and talk about it, that you almost deleted yourself, not the S word, right? We have to learn. YouTube has all of these guidelines. And so not that you did, but you may want to speak about that, just giving you a little bit of backdrop. Someone here is here saying hello to you.
Hello, everyone.
Drake.
I love the support.
So Drake Cap, is it?
Yes, Andre. Yes,
Andre. Oh, we have a bro in the house. We thank you. We got a gentleman in the house. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming and supporting Kiki tonight. And so I wanted to talk about the battered woman syndrome because I know many women who have suffered this, gone through this, and men. Let me keep it real. Men and women who have been subjected to this type of experience, right? But statistically, more women, or I should say, on record, there are more women that suffer from an intimate partner or from a relationship, a marriage, or whatever through domestic violence. And I have counseled women over the years, and it's one of the hardest times of counseling because depending on the severity of the situation and how long a person has been in that situation, sometimes it takes such a long time to get them to be strong enough and get enough courage to leave and to know that they're better than that, right? Because by the time you get to this point, you have been chipped away and chipped away. And it's okay if you get teary eyed. We cry on here. We do everything on here because it's real and it's authentic, right? We talk about real talk. None of this is fake. It's never, ever will I ever have a fake or a meditated or pre-motive type of show. Everything is from the heart. You know me, I love from the heart in a big way, and especially women. You know what I've done with
Mhm.
working with women, right? And so I knew that you would be someone that would be able to give back. I always say what we have when we come through something, we have to give it back. It doesn't belong to us, right? Well, I don't want to talk about it. And it's in your right time, right? Everybody has their own season and time when they can talk about it. They may talk to one woman in freedom, and then they may get on the platform and talk to 100. It doesn't matter. It's just that you have jewels now, and you've come out of a place that at one point you never thought you would make it out in your right mind, right? So the
But
battered woman syndrome or battered person syndrome is a psychological condition that can develop when a person experiences abuse, usually at the hands of an intimate partner, And there are different types of abuse: sexual abuse,
yeah,
stalking, physical abuse, and psychological aggression. And sometimes it could be multiple things at one time. It doesn't necessarily have to be one thing. Some of the symptoms we're going to talk about, but I want to get into your story and then we'll jump back into the symptoms, and maybe some of the symptoms on the list may have been something or some of the things that you have experienced and had gone through. So let's get a little backdrop. Where were you born and raised, Kiki, or Kiana, I should say?
okay, I was born and raised in Queens, New York,
Mm-hmm.
in
Oh, you
2017.
don't have. Oh, I was going to say you don't have to give your age.
Oh
Okay,
no, you know what?
okay.
I'm getting
When you
paid.
started saying the two, whoa, 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 you don't have to give your age anyway. Continue, my dear.
In 2017, I moved to Georgia. Um, because my mother and my sister lived down here. It was about that time. I've been a single parent since 2013.
Mm-hmm.
When I left my abusive marriage, I had I believe it was an 11-year-old, a 9-year-old, a a 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old.
Kia, wait a minute. Ine says she's from Queens. I didn't know that, Ine.
Oh, and
She
yes, South Jamaica, Queens.
and
Good
LaQuinta Hunt
evening.
said, "Good evening. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but sometimes we'll jump out. But I'm sorry. But anyway,
That's
yes,
wonderful.
I
I
want
love it.
I want you to. I'm glad you're jumping into, and I like the way you set it up. So go back. You had how many children? You were married with how many children? And tell us, when did when did you get married and when did the abuse start? Did you have any abuse? Did you see any red signs before you got married? So segue into, tell us that backdrop, how you met him, how old you were, and then get into the marriage.
Okay, I knew him since he was a little boy. He was 7 years younger than me. That
Okay.
was a red flag. He was younger than me. I don't know what I was thinking. So I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. I'm
It's
trying to keep
okay.
it
just
together.
just relax. It's just me.
It's just you, right?
Yeah, it's just me.
um, I was 30 years old when I got married. I had two children already.
Okay.
I had two children already. I had me, let me see, I was 23 when I had my son, then I was 26 when I had my daughter. And then when I turned 30, I got married, and I had two more children after that. The abuse, I really didn't notice it maybe until probably 2 years into the marriage.
When you say
And
you didn't notice it, when you with that's a little
I
different.
didn't. Right. Really didn't notice it
Hold
maybe
on, I got a
until
double.
probably.
Hello, Pastor Janika. She's on Facebook watching.
Awesome. Hello,
Okay,
Pastor.
so what do you mean you didn't notice? What does that mean?
It started off with verbal,
Okay, okay.
emotional
Oh,
abuse,
okay.
control,
Okay.
control. I could not be my own person. It was a certain image I had to live up to, being that he had a Spanish background. I'm an African American woman. Of course, I have, other ethnics. I have Portuguese and Indian and Irish. But at that point, He wanted me to portray this image as a Spanish woman. I was not
Okay.
allowed to cut my hair.
Wow.
Had to
Okay.
grow my hair, certain styles of hairstyle I had to wear. I wasn't allowed to wear braids. I'm an African woman American, so I like to wear my braids. He had a problem with that. It started off with little controlling things. Um,
Okay.
he felt he was the king of the castle. He felt whatever he said goes. I couldn't work. I had to stay home and take care of my children. So it started off with control, with the mind, the mental. One thing about abusive relationships, once the man feel he has your mind, he has everything else.
So that chipping away of, okay, so these first 2 years, and you start seeing the control now. How long did you date him?
I did not date him long. I dated him probably almost a year. Um,
Okay, and inside of that year, did you see little things peek out, little controlling things peek out? But you didn't think it was that detrimental to you?
no, because I thought it was me being submissive.
Okay,
I
okay, good
misunderstand.
point, good point,
I
good point.
misunderstood the whole concept of being submissive.
Ooh, that's powerful right there. Because if you don't know what it is, it could take you deeply in or not deep enough as a
Right.
woman, right? Because some
Right.
women don't know how to, right now, the talk is a lot of women don't know how to be submissive, but you're saying that, ooh, that's a stop, pause, and reflect.
Yep.
Not knowing the meaning of submission can really get you trapped off because you'll go so deep
Yep.
that you never have a no. You never have a no, I'm not comfortable, or no, I wouldn't like to do that, or your voice is lost.
Yeah. There's no boundaries.
No boundaries. Mm-hmm.
No boundaries. So, in the process of me being submissive, I lost myself
Mm-hmm.
because I was basically under a control where he told me what to do and how to go by doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, it's funny because when we was in a relationship, something happened with his ex-girlfriend. His ex-girlfriend called out of the blue and said she was pregnant.
Mm.
And I'm looking at him like, what do you mean? He was like, oh, when we was together, this and happened and all of this. And, she had some mental issues and she lied. Right there when he broke up with me, I'm going to keep it 100. The Lord told me don't get back with him.
Of course, we just ignore things.
Right.
Yeah,
The Lord was like, don't do it. And I'm like, but I love him. You know,
yeah.
there was some soul
So
ties.
you okay. You said you loved him, but now in hindsight, you know that wasn't love, right?
No, it was not.
Let's see what M. Mills is saying. Exactly, being submissive can be used as control by some men.
Yeah.
Yes, M. Mills. Yes. So
Yes.
you said I loved him, but you thought I mean, because now that you're free I mean, you're really good now because the Lord is healed and you've done the work yourself, right? You didn't wait for it to drop out the sky. You did the work,
Oh
and
yeah.
so you found out. So sometimes women have a picture of what love is, and
Mm.
even that picture is a dysfunctional picture or not, understanding the dynamics of love, just like you talked about the dynamics of submission. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So after I was disobedient. We broke up for like 3 months and we got back together. He just knew what to say, how to go by saying it. At that point when I broke up, I was like, it's over. But he just knew what to say, how to go by saying it. And he was like, let's try it again. She lied, it's not true. I want to be with you. And this is before I had my children. And with him, I had my other two. So I said, okay, we got back together. Wow, so much has transpired in my marriage where it was a lot of he was not stable. He was financially established, but he was very irresponsible with finances.
Okay.
Very irresponsible. There
Mm,
was a point we got evicted. It was a point where he didn't pay rent for 9 months.
mm-hmm,
And this is like later after I had my children. There was a point where he chose people on his job over me.
mm-hmm.
He wanted to hang out in the streets.
Mhm.
do a lot of overtime at work.
Yeah,
It's these little clues. But, when you feel or you think you're really in love with that person or you love that person, you want to ignore some of the red flags.
of
You know,
course.
you be like, oh, but this is the children. I mean, this is the father of my children.
That kicks in.
Right. And we're married. And
Right.
marriage vows is for death do us part. And I really took that serious. But
Yes.
then after the control, it was the verbal, then it was the emotional, and you in your mind, you know, you say, okay, God, I'm gonna take this marriage serious.
Hmm.
Okay, God, show me what to do. Should I, put up with it or should I tolerate it? And it was a point, it came to a point, Mama Sheila, where I actually stepped away from God.
Hmm.
I stepped away from God to attend to Him, to be with Him.
Yeah.
I found myself backsliding,
Yeah.
because he wasn't saved when we got married. But
Hmm.
he did he started going to church. He gave his
Yeah.
life to Christ. He got baptized, and I'm like, okay, cool.
It's working. The prayers are being answered.
Right. I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right. I'm doing something right. And I'm like, okay. But then, he started swaying. He started going left. And, I put him in front of God.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, at that point, you have to, realize that you were being chipped away. Your
Right.
personhood, your womanhood, your mental, everything was being chipped away. So you
Right.
wasn't the real Kiana.
No.
You came out the gate like that, but over time, because of the abuse, emotional, mental abuse, it was a process. The enemy works that way. It's a slow chipping. And then you find yourself in a space and like, how did I get here? And then you get the guilt thing, because now you realize that you
Yeah.
placed him in front of God. Let's look at this comment that Jeanette put up. Jeanette says, could someone in their 50s still be having the effects of battered woman syndrome from their 20s? Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. There's
Yeah.
certain pockets and certain things that, because we sweep things under the rug, not intentionally. It's just that we have to do what we have to do. So we get up and we work and we keep moving and keep moving. Then time passes, years pass, and certain things we didn't attend to. And eventually it'll pop up. It'll show up. It'll show up. Ine says, wow, Minister Kiana, your generous transparency is so appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jeanette, yeah, that is some powerful thing. Let's look at this for a second, and we're going to come back, pick up right where
Yeah.
you were. So they, according to the site on domestic violence, it says here are some of the things, the symptoms. The symptoms: feel isolated, anxious, depressed, or helpless. That's a check for you.
Yeah, all
Be
of
embarrassed or fear judgment and stigmatization. I'm sorry. Love the person who is abusing them and believe they will change.
wow.
That's be emotionally withdrawn, because in these situations they want to pull you from your family, your
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Be
Mm-hmm.
unaware of the type of help that is available and have perceived morals or religious reasons for staying in a relationship, and that's huge.
Mm.
That's huge, because you just said the vows, which of course we take serious, but this is what happens mentally and internally, where a woman will stay because, no, I said to death do us part, and no, I'm a believer, and no, is, especially sometimes people say, oh, I'm in a Catholic church, I can't be divorced, or all of these things happen to cause women to stay in these relationships that are chipping away at them. And not to mention that, 1 out of 7 men are battered, right? It's 1 out of 3 women, but it's 1 out of 7 men that goes through the battered man syndrome, right? So we can't forget that we have women who physically hurt men, who
Yes.
physically take advantage of men. But it's just as far as the women is concerned, it's a high trauma situation, and it is trauma. And a lot of times, not all, but women wind up with PTSD when they
Yeah.
come up out of this thing. So
Yes.
we'll come back to the impact of the abusive relationship in a minute. I want you to continue, but before, let's put this comment up. We welcome you, Stormy. Vicarious trauma is most definitely real. A lot of the symptoms include lasting feelings of grief, anxiety, or sadness, which could lead to isolation and altered emotional and mental states. Well said. Yes, facts. Well said. Absolutely. Absolutely. So pick up where you were, if you may, if you can.
Okay. We were talking about form of control, neglecting my spiritual beliefs. You
Yes.
know, I stopped going to church because he didn't want to go to church. He didn't want me to go to church. You know, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of persuasions. We all adults here. You know, a lot of persuasions, sexual persuasions to keep, to try to keep me from going to church, knowing I'm dressed, ready to go, and here he go, using sexual persuasions, and I
Wow.
wound
Yeah.
up missing service because he
Yeah.
didn't want me to go, and he knew, that would stop
He
me.
knew what to do. Men
Right?
know how to push our buttons. Come on, let's keep it real. When
It's
you're with
true.
someone for a certain amount of time, right? Because we're emotional beings and we love. Listen, God created us to love and to be free, right? And so when you stay in a relationship long enough, men know how to get a response. They know how to push your buttons to get you to cry. They know how to push your button to get money if they need it. They
Yeah.
know how to push buttons. And right now we are talking about a woman man relationship. So I don't want men to think that we're kind of bashing because we don't do that here. But wait, hold on. Here's a comment. M. Mill says, I stayed in a 16-year mental and verbal abusive marriage nobody knew for a long time. I was ashamed due to being involved in ministry. There we go. There we go. I have to get me my machine with my music. I have one, but it's broke. So I have to get it where I get my hand claps, my boop, boop, my whatever. I have
Yeah.
to get it fixed or get another one.
Warrior.
Yes, yeah, whatever. I gotta have to get another one. We need that organ, that Hammond B3. We need to do
Yes,
something
you do.
because this comment is so powerful. And this is what I'm saying. You remember one time TD Jakes had a woman in his church and she was being abused and she wanted to be divorced and she went, it was in court, and TD Jakes went to court and the judge went off on him and the church and said, I am sick of these women coming into my courtroom and coming in here telling me the church told them to stay, and the church knew they were being beat up and battered when church had them in lockdown. I'm paraphrasing, in terms of you can't leave. He said, I'm sick of the church not being accountable for these women. Now if the judge have to turn around, it's something wrong. That's why tomorrow, the Church Hurt series starts right here on Bravo at
Yeah.
7 p.m., right? You'll be on that platform as well. The
Yeah.
Church Hurt series, and I invite other women to come up on the platform and chat with us on that topic. M. Mills, I'm so sorry you went through that, right? The church is the healing place, and then you're getting healed and you're getting hurt. And then because you're in ministry and the chatter in the church, don't start me talking about the chatters and not being able to trust the elders and not being able to go to the pastors because they saying that's your husband and he's the head of the house. Don't let me start. Don't let me get into that because we'll veer off into something else, and we'll do that tomorrow. But I understand where you are, M. Mills. Been there, done that. Trust me. Anywho, keep it moving, my dear Kiki.
Okay. Just over the years, the abuse got worse. The emotional abuse. There was times I was held hostage in my bedroom for 4 hours. He wouldn't let me leave. My kids running around, and I didn't want to show that fear. I didn't want to show that irritability or whatever around my kids. So I dealt with it, and he just taunted me, in the room for 4 hours. He wouldn't let me leave, laughed in my face, and I
Wow.
couldn't even leave the room.
Now, what year was this? This is year
This
3 or 4?
was probably 4 years into the
4
marriage.
years in. Okay, so it
Yes,
progressed from
yes,
just the talking to now it turned up. Yes.
yes. Now this when I left him in 2013, I got back in church. I got back in the face of God. The closer I got to God, the more our marriage became distant. The closer I got to God, the more separated we became, because I made up in my mind at that time, I am going to live my life for Christ. Dealing with abuse, dealing with the emotional, the verbal,
Did
all
he
the
ever hit you? Did he get to the
when it
point where
got
it
to
got
that
physical?
point, that's when I left him. When it
Okay.
got to that point, because one time I was in the kitchen, and I always tell this story. I had a pitchfork frying chicken for the church, and he approached me. I'm sorry, he approached me. He got in my face. He looked at me. I saw the devil. I saw Satan himself looking at me, and he looked at me and he told me he was going to kick my behind. In other words, it was worse than that, And he looked, and when he mushed me in my face, I had the pork, I had the long pitchfork in my hand frying the chicken. And I looked at him. I said, if you're going to do whatever you say you're going to do it. And my aunt ran in because we was evicted. I had to stay with my aunt in her 2-bedroom apartment. He was out there running the streets doing him. But he just got so angry with me. I had the fork in my hand, and my aunt ran and got the kids. And I was looking at him, and the more angry he got and the more louder he became, he was
Yeah.
moving back away from me. So God was like pushing him away from me, because either somebody was going to go to jail or somebody was going to leave on a stretcher. Because
Yeah.
that's when I had it
It
at that.
was enough. Yeah, you
It
had.
was enough. I said, I can't take it no more. We got evicted. I'm here in the 2-bedroom with my aunt. I'm out there looking for an apartment with my kids, trying to get an apartment with my father's credit, because his is messed up and he's too busy running out there in the streets. I just came to my breaking point,
Yeah.
and it was
Wow.
infidelity on his part. The Lord
Yeah.
showed me what the woman looked like in a vision, her hair color, where she lived at. God showed me all of that. And I said, okay, that was it. That was it. I was just done after that. So when it got to that point, he was moving away from me. I done burnt my chicken, and I came in a room.
Wait. Before you say
I
you
said,
burnt
thank
your
you.
chicken.
Yeah, I burnt my
You
chicken
burnt your chicken.
for church tomorrow. You know?
Can't mess with nobody's Sunday chicken now.
Okay. So then after that, I went in the room and I said, thank you very much. I said, thank you for putting your hands on me, because now I'm leaving you. Now I'm leaving you. So I thank God for Sanctuary for Families. And they are actually located in New York City. And they
Okay.
are the biggest domestic violence shelter for families.
We're going to give that information. I want you to
Yes.
give all of that information
Yes.
towards the end, so people don't lose it within the conversation. Mary Hall says that after counseling with the pastor, I was told to stay because my ex was a passive aggressor. Oh, yeah, because they know what to say to the pastor. And the woman is always the one that's supposed to be out of control and out of line. This
Right.
comment I must put up right now. Like Minister Kiana, I had the wrong understanding of submissive. How do you get past PTSD from abuse, counseling, support system, and you talking about it, and you just not being ashamed, unveiling you, sitting with you saying, okay, let me take care of this layer. Let me go back into this so I can just mix this out of my space. You have to, you have to come to a place where you want to feel better, and don't hide behind it, because it's nothing to be ashamed of, right? So being set free is the greatest feeling. So just like the other question, can you still be dealing with some residue, I'll say, after all those years of being in a relationship? You could have residue from when you were 5 years old being beat. You have residue if you don't deal with these things. So my sister, Clarissa, yes. How do you get past it? Counseling, talking about it, and just getting deep down into you, and just being angry with it, because it can't live in you anymore. It
Amen.
cannot occupy your space anymore. So,
Amen.
at the end, I mean, there's some phone numbers and stuff scrolling. You can call, or you can, at the end, we're going to talk about Kiana's ministry that she started as a result of this. Let's put this up. She said, I remember going to work and church, and my ex-husband had never been home from the night. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, because it gets real crazy then. It gets real crazy if they don't show up. They take liberties now because they have you. They have total control. They have your mind, your body, and your soul. They have you because that is you, mind, body, soul. And your spirit can never be tampered with. That's why you can go right back and that thing can switch on. And that's what you did. You went back and then you picked up God again. And that thing turned back on you, the Holy Spirit that was abiding in you. That's why when people say, well, I backslid, well, it takes a lot to kind of backslide, into the point where you don't feel God. Now you can turn away from God, and that's when the scripture says, God will leave us to our own reprobate mind. I mean, you don't went so crazy. You don't went so far over that God's like, okay, all right, I see you when you get back. He'll just leave you to yourself. But your Holy Spirit is in us, right? And that's why you felt so convicted, because now you knew when you crossed the line and you made him your little God.
Yeah.
He was your little God.
Yep. It's true. It's true. And God is a jealous God.
Mm-hmm.
Don't matter who it is. You put anything in front of God. He's a jealous God, And, many people don't know this, but I was diagnosed with PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
Post-traumatic stress disorder, because I left the marriage and how it all happened. A couple of days after I told him I was going to leave him, I called Sanctuary for Families. And when he went to work, I grabbed 6 bags of black garbage bags of clothes and my children. And my elevator was broken. I walked down 6 flights of steps in a building in Jamaica, Queens. And I'm over there by Something Boulevard. And I got in that car and I never turned back. And let me tell you, when God told me he was going to take care of me and keep me and bless me when I left that marriage, I had to get permission from God. God gave me the permission to leave that marriage. To this day, I don't know what my ex did to the point where God released me from that marriage, but he did. God showed me a vision. Both of my wedding rings descending.
Because it was time, the release.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to talk about the impact and of the abusive relationship. How can it continue? Does it continue? Until I play this quick little thing for you guys out there. This is what I need you to do. Sometimes I just get so tired of saying it, so I said, let me just play it, and then it'll be right there and somebody can just hit it right after I kind of put that in. Let's talk about the impact of an abusive relationship and it continuing long after it. So point number 1 is experience sleep problems, including nightmares and insomnia. Have sudden intrusive feelings about the abuse, like like you could be walking down the block and somebody could come stand behind you and you because you remember someone can say something. You can get in another relationship, a whole brand new positive one, and the guy can say something that he said and it just backflash you.
Trigger.
Avoid talking about the abuse, right? You avoid it. So that means years pass, over years and years and years. And it's so sad. It's so sad when those of us that are believers, those of you who are not, no pun intended, but those of us who are believers, and we have a ministry or a church or whatever, and we don't feel comfortable enough to even talk to someone about it. Now to me, that is like absolutely crazy, because, people have different levels of their spirituality and their walk. Everybody has a different experience, right? But we need a safety net. Women need a safety net. That's why sometimes you'll find women, that don't want to be around other women because they've been burnt by other women, right? They've been betrayed by other women they thought were cool with them. And so, but they're good friendships out there. They're good women, but sometimes this affects you where you won't even talk. You'll die in silence, just like a lot of women are dying in silence as we speak. Avoid situations that remind them of the abuse. Experience feelings of anger, sadness, hopelessness, or worthlessness. Have intense feelings of fear and have panic attacks or flashbacks to the abuse. Are you on this list anywhere?
Oh, yeah. A lot of them. I'm sorry. A lot of them. A lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. I had triggers. My trigger was the key coming in the door. Even
Mm.
it took years, years. I had to go through a lot of counseling, and I had to really ask God to really seriously help me and deliver me from
To
that.
help you.
Whenever I hear the key in the door, my heart begin to race, and it's
The,
part of PTSD. You know,
the trauma. It's
yeah,
trauma.
it really was. Whenever I heard the key, I knew he was coming home.
Ooh.
I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how he was going to treat me. I didn't, I had no idea. And, I'd be at peace when he's not there. But it's that key
Yeah.
in the door. I knew
That
he
key,
was
that key.
coming
And
in.
all of these things pop up. Say after the fact, like it took you a long time while you're in counseling. Did you deal with insomnia? Could you not sleep? Were you avoiding people, places, and things? Were you angry?
Okay, when I left him, I went to a shelter. I was in a shelter for 2 years. So I thank God that I had group counseling. I
Oh,
thank God
good.
that I hadn't heard other people's stories that was worse than mine.
Right.
So oh, it was tough.
Yeah.
It was hard. I'm not even going to sit here and say, "Oh, you get over it," because it took me years.
Yeah.
Okay, since 2013 to it's been let me see 2013. It's been 8 years. But it took a good 5 years,
To take them
to
layers off.
yeah, to get back to your norm, to learn and know you again.
Wow.
That was
Yes.
important, to get to know
You
yourself
That's
again.
powerful to get to know
Totally
you
know
again. Yeah, because you lost yourself. He took your
right.
soul, he took your mind, your
Yeah.
your your mental, your emotions, your physical. You were too
Yeah.
weak to even leave. You had fear had totally taken over you. You had
Yeah.
lost yourself, but look at the chipping away when it started. It
Yeah.
started, you saw the red sign, you saw the flag,
Yeah.
right? And then when you got into it and then he married you, then you became his property for real. And
Yeah.
people say, well, I'm my husband, I'm his property. Okay, that's cool if your husband's a good guy, right?
Right.
But you give that kind of power over, you better make sure that this man is a man that is not going to use you for his own gain, to abuse you and to take full control. That's why a lot of women, they lose it and they wind up deleting the guy, because they snap. They snap. And you were at that point, at the frying that chicken with that fork in your hand, you were getting ready to make a bad decision for yourself and your kids.
Yeah.
Mary says, my ex raped me in year 4 of our marriage, and I stayed with him for another 6 years. We had to leave New York City in order for me to see the abuse. Tell you that chip, man. That
Yeah.
let me see what M. Mill says. Yes, Keon, I didn't leave until God released me, and we both agreed it was time to let it go. Yeah, it's that releasing. As a believer, you know when that release. I was in an abusive marriage, and it was more emotional and mental. Emotional. He was a
Mhm.
regular substance abuser, and it was
Mhm.
living hell. It was living hell, and I had to get up and minister in front of hundreds of people and lead worship and on the church, that he would manipulate the church, and it's her, and that type of thing. But when God, and I kept saying, Lord, release me and forgive me for marrying this joker.
Right.
You know what I mean? Forgive me for going before your hand, but please release me. But I knew each time I was praying that he hadn't said okay yet. But when that release dropped on me, I said, oh, I got it. It's
Mhm.
time to go. And you can't stay in these situations. And I mean, no one would ever know. Well, they knew eventually because I didn't hide it, because I'm that one. I'm like David, right? I'm the one to say, yep, made a mistake. I'm not hiding behind anybody, right? The only way you get free is when you get in front of something, right? But you have to get to that place to be able to stand that. And being in ministry and being, Sheila Ingram, the singing, this and that, it was double for me, because my life was already in the public's eye, right? And so being in the public's eye, I couldn't hide behind anything. And it's the difference when you're a public person. Another female could go through the same thing quietly, but you would never hear that story because
Mhm.
there's no public attached to her. But for me, I had to walk through stuff through the public of the church. And boy, when I tell you, ooh, what a walk. That's that walking out in shoe leather, right? You
Mhm.
see clearly. who's with you and who said they were, who jumped ship because the son left. I mean, you learn so much, but it builds character. And when you want to change and when you want healing, that's when you give God says, okay, you ready? Let's do this. Right. But when you keep hiding and allowing that person, even though they're out of your space and out of your life to control you, they're no longer in your life and they still have a grip on you. No, sir.
Mm-hmm.
No, sir. Um, Let me see. Emil says, we didn't divorce until year 17, and it has been 3 years, and I am just now finding myself. Bravo to you, Emils. Bravo to you. You are on your way, and it's coming back, sis. It's just coming back, piece by piece, piece by
Yeah.
piece.
Piece
Go
by
ahead.
piece.
Continue, Kiki.
Yes. And one of the things on how I really matured and really grown, number one, is getting to know myself again. But number two is forgiveness.
Mm,
It took a long time. It was layers of
yeah,
forgiveness. When I
yeah.
thought I forgave him and something else would come up,
I'm
you know,
sure. Yes, that's how that works.
oh, okay, I'm not delivered yet. Okay, God, search me again.
Yep.
Okay, it's like an artichoke. You have to peel layers before you get to that heart. Just like an
Yes.
onion, you got to peel layers before you get to that core. And the
Yes.
deeper you get into that onion, is the more tears that will develop, the
Yeah.
stronger the aroma.
Yeah.
So you have to be willing to peel those layers. But forgiveness is what really I can say saved me, because I had to forgive him, not for him.
For
And a lot
you.
of people were like, "Oh, I'm going to forgive so you can get better." No, you
For
forgive it
you.
so you can get better.
Because you
You
take your power
forgive,
back.
yes, so
You take
you
your
can
power
be
back.
happy, so
Yes.
you can have a peace of mind. You'll be surprised how much God honors when you forgive someone that despitefully use you.
Yeah, but you can't forgive in your own might. See, that's the problem. When you try
Right.
to forgive in your own flesh, your own strength, you'll never get there. That's where you have to tap into that agape. Because when you tap into God and use God's strength, use God's forgiveness, use God's thoughts, use God's scriptures on that, then you begin to get softer in your heart because the offense that has been done to you, come on, let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100. When you keep the offense that's been done to you in your flesh, in your natural man, you want to do something else. You
Yeah,
don't want to forgive. So
that's
you
true.
have to immediately start to chip on your own mind to
Yeah.
turn and shift towards the God thing and say, God, I need you to help me forgive. And he says, well, you're going to have to start praying for him. Oh, you might not have prayed for him in over a year, but the moment you start praying, that's that
Mhm.
paid peace you're talking about. You then the
Yep.
next month or two, it becomes easier. You start praying for the person like, okay, that was effortless because that means the spirit now gives the utterance to pray, right? For that forgiveness piece. Because forgiveness is no easy thing in our own might. For
Right.
anybody, whether it's your sister, your best friend, girl, anybody that does a harm to you or betrays you or physical, whatever, it's hard to figure. So you got to have the God thing, got to kick in that agape love, that unconditional. But it takes time, like you said. And sometimes people don't want to give people time, especially the church. Sometimes they say, "Oh, you just got to forgive." Come on now, you can't just throw that out to someone who just went through years of abuse
Yeah, that's true.
and then start saying that. Well, then you don't have God in you if you don't let. Ooh, well, see, I'm not the girl, because see,
Mm.
that's not God's heart, right? So yes, I want to say hello to some folks on Facebook. Lillian Murphy, oh my goodness, thank you for being here. Beatrice Moody, my sister, thank you so much. Diane Anderson, thank you really for being here. I don't see other names. I see Pastor Danica, and I'm sure there are other names. And let me see what Beatrice Moody, she said, I know someone needs help now, been married for more than 10 years, and she is 40 years old, and I'm trying to help her. Yes, B, try to get her to get help. Please try to get her to get some help, and know that as long as she has a safety net, that the confidentiality piece, she needs another voice in her ear. She needs that voice of calm, that voice of telling her to forgive herself, that voice. Because when you got to forgive yourself, because remember, you beat yourself up for allowing someone to do that to you, allowing all those years to be taken from you. Then you walk away with guilt. You got to get the guilt off, and it takes work. Like Kiana is saying, it takes work. Someone's here and they want mama to put their name up. It looks like family.
Oh, that's my sister.
That's your sister. Hi, sister, and thank you for being here.
Hey.
Thank you. If you just come in, please hit that like button and subscribe if you'd like. Let's see. Emil says my ex-husband and I are now friends. See,
Yeah,
and
and you know what?
it's a beautiful thing when that can
It
happen.
is. It is. It took a lot of years for him and I to have a communication. And he actually confessed to me and he said, because it took him a long time to give me my divorce. It took years, on his side of not cooperating. And he told me, he apologized. He said, I'm sorry that I held you up. I'm so sorry that I was being selfish and I wasn't cooperating with you. He apologized to me. And it's funny because the Lord told me to pray for him at one point. The
Yeah.
Lord told me, I said, Lord, for real? The Lord said,
I'm
pray
sure
for
you
him.
said, Lord, for real? Are you
I'm like,
serious? Did I hear
you
you
know,
correctly?
yeah, because our deliverance, at times is wrapped up in our obedience.
Yes.
If we really want to get delivered, we have to be obedient to the voice of God. And I wrote him a long text after I prayed for him. And I actually apologized to him, and I said, I'm sorry, if I did anything wrong or whatever I did, whatever I said, you know what I'm saying? I gave him my peace. I gave him, my thoughts, on my wrongdoing. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? I didn't have pity. I don't
No,
feel bad for
right,
myself.
right. No, I mean, when there's two people, he may have 95%, you own the five, but we got to, as women, we own 10%, 15, we own something. I know with me, I said, he's 90%.
Mhm.
90% him. And then I had to sit one day and I said, well, Sheila, 10% can corrupt something too,
That's
depending on what's inside of that 10%, how
true.
powerful
It's
that
true.
10% is,
That's
right?
true.
So,
Because I had to release myself.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that
Be
was important.
Moody, she don't love herself. Yeah, she doesn't love herself. I wish you would get her to give me a call. I really wish you would. I really wish you could just get her to have a conversation or just a real easy phone call to try to get just that one step. The baby step is the step. The baby
Mhm.
step will lead to the next step. It don't have to be a
Yeah.
giant step. It's just a baby step. You know what I say, Kiki? You could finish this because I've said it for years in your ear. When nothing changes,
Nothing changes.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So you have to keep it moving.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's
Kiki, we're going to have to do a part two with this
we
because,
will.
yeah, we're not done with this. And I know you have a Bible study class to teach. And I want to give you at least 5 minutes to take this hat off and put that hat on. And so the experience of abuse can lead to reduced self esteem, long term symptoms of PTSD, long term disability or health problems related to physical abuse, feelings of guilt and shame. We have to wrap it up. The number is on the screen, Beatrice, 914 218 1088. 914 218 1088. Before we leave, please, we didn't even talk about, we have to come back maybe next week. We could do a part
Okay.
two and we
Okay.
can talk about your ministry because
Yeah.
that's what came out of this. SCAR. Tell the audience what SCAR stands for.
Scar means surviving Christian abusive relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Surviving it.
Surviving.
You can do it. Yes. Surviving Christian abusive relationships. And
Yeah.
that was a ministry that was birthed out of it because a lot of Christians or a lot of faith believers don't like speaking of the abuse or they ashamed or they
Oh,
embarrassed
yeah.
or they feel the church don't want to listen or
Yeah.
no one wants to listen. But God had me to birth it and I had to kind of step out of the boundaries. I had to kind of step out a little bit, on faith and share and let people know just because you love the Lord and you striving, to be a disciple or, a Christian, you still going to go through some things, our choices that we make.
Absolutely.
But God can bring you through and he can bring you out.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm so proud of you, to come out of this battered, thing to, the abuse you took, you and your four children, you always, wherever you saw you, you see you and your kids. Like you always have your kids with you. You're a perfect, beautiful mom, always cooking and slaying in the kitchen, but God now has used you through the abuse, right,
Yes.
to help other women and to help and once again give the name of the the shelter in the city.
Okay. Yes,
What
in
is?
New York City area, it's called Sanctuary for Families, and the
Mhm.
number is 212-349-6009. And that's the shelter that I went through, and I actually became an advocate and mentor for families of domestic violence. So I took that pain and I flipped it and made it into power.
Way before, because I agree. When your spouse is on a substance abuse, it's hell. My husband was found dead with 240. Ooh, nana, ooh, 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 ooh. Listen, we're gonna continue this conversation next week. I'm gonna put the uh the advertisement up. I'm gonna put it up. I'm gonna put it up on YouTube and on Facebook. We're going to continue this next week, Kiki. All of you, all the bravettes in the chat on YouTube, you guys are beautiful, wonderful women. Thank you for being so transparent. Thank you for sharing. You don't know who you helped on this platform. You don't know who. And even inside of the chat, the sister that's typing and you're typing and you're not alone. And you see, it's being able to talk about it that shows that you're healed. You can't talk about this stuff if you don't have a level of healing in you already.
Right.
People that's going through this, you don't hear them chatting about it. Like my sister Beatrice Moody was saying, her friend who's been locked in this relationship, she's dying in silence. She's going through stuff in silence
Yeah.
because of this situation. I thank you guys so much. Mills says that my ex was also an alcoholic and his family members were as well. We're gonna finish this up. This is powerful stuff here. We might even ask some other folks to come and join us next week, because I think as a team, as a group, we have so much to share, so that other women will understand you do not have to stay in this situation. And that if anyone reaches out to you, me, or anyone, it is totally confidential. Somebody might want to talk to M. Mills. Somebody might want to talk to Clarissa. These women made it out. You just don't know. Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, Facebook. Those of you who just tuned in on Facebook, we are getting ready to sign off. Minister Kiki has to see me and my Kiki.
It's
Minister Kiana has to go and teach a Bible study, and so I have to let her go right now. And I really appreciate your support. Remember, if you didn't hit that thumbs up, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. I'm trying to press my way to 300 subscribers. I might be at 202, and if some of you are new and never been here, if you hit that subscribe, then when I come off, I'll be at 205 or 206. So thank you once again. Kiana, don't move. Listen, ladies and gents, bless you. God bless you. And we'll see you
God
soon.
bless
Tune
you.
in tomorrow. Kiana will be on the platform with me with Bolo TV and Minister Dawn Brathwaite. We're going to be talking about the first series topic of church hurt. That's tomorrow, Bravo with Sheila at 7 p.m. So tune in tomorrow for that dynamic conversation. And we love you and thank you so much. And I'm going to sign off and say ciao.
Thank y'all. Bye.